In the opening, I have said that Bible gave us the freedom. I've got a YouTube channel in that I try to discuss many things, and I bring in very good speakers. You must have heard of Mr. Vishal Mangalwadi, and he's a doctor, and he's written 27 books. Please see that video, what I have been posting. It was in Hindi, and I'm trying to put it up in English as well very shortly. So then we try to understand what actually these things are. Now I will tell you that our fight in persecution is a battle of thoughts, battle of ideologies. Now let me explain how this is a battle of ideology and how we can counter them. That is the main issue. And Samrajyavad is fascism. Fascism was that one king, he expands his boundaries, he goes and attacks other people, he goes and attacks other princely states and makes them slaves. And then they have to pay them tithe or whatever that was called, taxes. And that is how they used to expand the kingdom. There used to be a horse. It was well decorated. There used to be a big umbrella upon it. And then that was let loose. And that was called as Ashwamedh Yag. Ashwamedh Yag means that horse was left free, and behind that horse, the whole army of that particular king, they used to keep on marching, and anybody who had the guts to stop him, it is that the war has been declared. And wherever that horse used to go, all that land started belonging to the king who had started the Ashwamedh Yag. This is Manusmriti. This is the battle what we are fighting. It is force to expand the kingdom. And now I will tell you, sir, what you have raised is, there was a standardized set of do's and don'ts. One person born into one family, he remains the king. One born into one particular caste, he remains the governing class, and we remain the governed class because we were born into some other community or class. This is not an acceptable theme of the Bible. And now how this was enforced, I will try to bring you. See, India was declared as a free country after World War II. World War II, Allies were winning the whole war. Germany and Japan had come together. There was no force that could have stopped them. And Churchill, who commanded all the Allies, these Allies, they could not win without the American support. So at that time, Roosevelt was the president of America. America was keeping itself totally away. They were not bothered about the Second World War. You may do or die, we don't care about you people. And Churchill, he foreseeing that we are going to lose this battle, and ultimately fascism is going to take over. So he tried to have a talk with Roosevelt. After a lot of persuasion, they got a time, and on a journey on a ship, he got a time to talk to Churchill. There was a charter that was known as the Atlantic Charter, and what I am trying to explain or push forward at this particular point is that Atlantic Charter. You can take up those minutes. It is available on the net. The first question which Roosevelt had raised is, why are you people making our men of God slaves? He asked Churchill this question blindly. God does not permit slavery. Why are you making them slaves? Why don't you set them free? This was the Roosevelt's first words, and America at that time, they were staunch believers of the Bible. There was a white Bible on which all the oath was taken up. This was removed by Obama recently. And this Atlantic Charter, they had 9 rounds of talks before a final agreement was reached upon. So Roosevelt stood strongly for the biblical values. He didn't say that you give me this money, you give me so many ships, or you give me this much of land, then I will help you. He only asked to set these people free. That was his only demand. It's not a small thing. Today, if I have to go and help somebody over there working, okay, what I'm getting out of it? What are you going to give to me? So that was the real evangelism that took place on that particular ship, and then the Atlantic Charter was chalked out. And what Macaulay had said in 1833, the same words Roosevelt repeated in 1941 when the talks for ending the Second World War started. He just said, man is equal in God's sight, and you people, he told to the Britishers, he told to the Queen, and he told to Queen Victoria through Churchill, and that you are people, that you are enslaving your people, you are working against the Bible, your kingdom is not going to stand. And if you want America's help, America stands for freedom of mind, America stands for its biblical values, it stands for equalities. These were the three things. These were the three things which were agreed upon that Atlantic Charter. So when the Atlantic Charter took place, there was one school of thought which said that we are expansionists, that we will go and attack and kill people and increase our wealth. That was one school of thought. The second school of thought that took place in 1941 through this Atlantic Charter. And that three major decisions were made in that. Self-determination is the authority to vote and form your government and to govern your own selves. What we were supposed to be doing today, it was declared there in 1941 in continuation with 1833. So it was the Bible which stood in 1833 and it was the Bible which stood up in 1941. It was nobody else that gave us the independence to humankind. I say this with authority. The first thing they made, because then the East India Company was there, and when the East India Company was there, they were only trying to extract wealth, money, power, everything of the country, and out of this thing, it was banned. The power of the East India Company was taken back, and as administrators were put in over there that we will give India the right for self-determination. This was the first decision. The second decision was economic cooperation. Every country needs to expand economically. We will not expand by war. We will expand by trade, by economic helping to other people to grow. We will try to encash the goodness what we are giving to other people. This is the way we will be expanding our wealth. This was the decision that was taken over there. Is this decision not in accordance with Bible? Bible does not expect anyone to go and kill somebody and take his land. Does it permit? So how are you going and killing people and taking their lands and colonies? So that was taken back, that we will not expand. We will not, and ultimately we will give up all the colonies. So that was the decision. Even Australia, Holland, Netherlands, they were given independence even before India. Here, the third ideology was expansion of wealth through military force. This was being done by the Manusmriti. This was totally banned in this agreement, that we will not increase our wealth through military force. This was, and we will not plunder other man's wealth, be it mineral wealth or be it a forest. There are the only two ways. So these are the three decisions that have been taken: the right to vote, the right of equality, economic cooperation, so that we could trade and expand our things. These were the fundamentals what Bible has. So with authority I say it was the Bible that gave you the independence. It was not Tom, Dick or Harry who gave us the independence. And this Atlantic Charter later became United Nations Organization. It became United, and now it is a dying duck. Because again, we have moved away from the biblical values. Now to give freedom to India, there was a big challenge. If you don't know to drive a car and I give you a car, you are sure to die. You are going to make an accident somewhere. So, what is the first part? The first part was to educate. And that's why in 1833, even Macaulay started that education program, and that's why Christians are known that we have one of the best education systems in the whole of the country. And they are trying to be demolished. And it was not, and our warfare was not by killing my neighbor, but empowering my neighbor. Will you ever believe me? To save Sanskrit language, a commission was formed in the Madras University, which is known as the Madras College now. I had gone there. I have read their history. Radhakrishnan Sarvapalli, the first president, he was made the head of a department to study the Vedas, to research on the Vedas. This was our thought. We could have even easily transcended into force and force the education system to be unilateral and teach only Bible. But that was the biblical values which were maintained and kept our education system. But today those education system is being systematically demolished. They are scared of biblical values. Second part was a healthy body keeps a healthy mind. If the boy is unfed, if the generations don't have food to eat, if the generations can't make their ends meet, how will they think? So the second program was to build hospitals, and that is why the Christian community engaged only in two activities, that is education and health services. That was the reason. We could have done business like all these mandirs over today. We could have gathered thousands of tons of gold like all the mandirs have. We could have become a trading community having all power and money business. But we opted to choose Bible as our leading light. That was our leading light. And now, share my vision. I will just try to share my vision. How we can come, this mental attack, first we have to block it with the other communities. On our community and the entire nation, one part. Then we have to educate our people that how mental attack upon you is going. Bible preaching is a separate part. Let's divide it straight into two particular sectors. One sector, let's educate them, understand what persecution is, prepare them. So that was the ideological part of persecution what I talked about.